Jenna Kanell. Faces of Atlanta. Jenna Kanell is one of those people about whom you will say, I knew her when. She is destined for greatness in the world of film, as well as social consciousness. She is an impassioned young director/writer-actor who is making a name for herself with her short film Bumblebees, winner of the 2015 Disability Film Challenge and starring her own brother. And though this Atlanta native could be complacent with all the awards she's winning for her moving piece, she's already jumped into other film projects. This self-described cat lady uses film as a language that everyone understands. It's a medium for communication, for interpreting ideas, for intense examinations of our history and future. It's escapism. It's dynamic art. It's job opportunities for all the kids who were bullied in middle school. Film has the power to inspire individual and societal change, or, at the very least, motivate thoughts and dialogue. Get to know our newest face, Jenna Kanell, and make sure you watch her inspirational short film, Bumblebees, included below. You went to Atlanta's the Paideia School and then received a writing scholarship to Pace University, but decided to work first instead of attending college. Why did you make that decision, and were your parents upset? After high school, I embarked alone across the country on buses, meditating on the future, and at last making the decision to postpone university for a variety of reasons. I was not only anxious to escape the academic bubble and frustrated by the priority placed on test scores, but found during the gap year that my field of interest often valued experience over formal schooling. Naturally, my parents were initially concerned, pressured by their extended families not to let me stray from the beaten path. So I studied independently and worked relentlessly, illustrating that my choice was not out of apathy. Attending college is advantageous for many career paths and individuals, but it is not for everyone. Knowledge is invaluable, but academia is not the only source. When did you decide to get into the entertainment industry, and in what capacity? How did the reality of the industry differ from what you thought it would be like? I've told stories in one form or another throughout my life, initially entering the industry as an actor and stunt performer, and later branching into writing, directing, and other production positions. I learned the hard way that a number of people operate on fear. Of losing their jobs, of not obtaining or maintaining monetary gain, of taking risks and stepping on toes. Though I was working, I struggled at the beginning to identify mentors and peers with my best interests at heart. I butted heads with biases I had heard of, but refused to believe in. What made you decide to move back to Atlanta, and how have you had to readjust with regard to your career and personal life? After training and working in Los Angeles for about 4 years, I was visiting home and found myself uncommonly busy, leading me to research Georgia's tax credits, incentives, and the resulting boom of local projects. Readjusting to living in the Southeast was simple in terms of cost of living and the decrease in traffic, but challenging socially. I moved from a city full of people who understood the strange film world to one where I was the odd one out again. But through numerous creative groups and networking events, I've modified the nature of the waters I wade in. Your younger brother, Vance, was born with 8 neurological sensory disorders, including autism, cerebral palsy, and epilepsy. What was it like growing up with him, and how has your relationship changed over the years? When he was young, doctors informed my parents of the likelihood that their son would never walk, speak, read, or write. Vance was nonverbal for the first 7 years of his life and required a great deal of extra attention and care. As a kid, I had trouble being patient with him and relinquishing my expectations for him to be like my friend's siblings. But as he got a bit older, our relationship evolved. In hindsight, there were times when he was more patient with me than I was with him. There were, of course, his tantrums, the times our family was limited, and many uncomfortable situations aggravated by social misunderstandings. But my parents were, and are, superheroes. They drove him all over the city for physical therapy, occupational therapy, and speech therapy up to 5 days a week. Then roughly a decade ago, they found Lionheart, a school in Alpharetta for kids with autism spectrum disorder. Since then, Vance has been a new person, now conquering everything he wasn't supposed to. I slowly became more understanding while he worked to grow communicatively. But I don't feel that I fully saw his soul until we made Bumblebees together. He is so smart, so lovable, and so compassionate, and he teaches something to everyone who meets him. I want everyone to see people they don't understand in that light. You're a self-described cat lady in training. How will you know when you've officially made it as a full-fledged cat lady? When all my friends have 4 legs and I only leave the house to tell kids to get off my lawn. If you could cast a movie of your own life, who would play Jenna Kanell? I love Aubrey Plaza. We don't look all that similar, and this would mostly be an excuse to meet her. but she has this witty, dark, dry edge. What is your best piece of advice? At the vanguard of your path, be sure of who you are, what you want, and why, so that those who wish you ill can't easily throw you off course. It's not necessary to tolerate people who make you uncomfortable purely because they might give you a job. What are 3 things you can't live without, with the exception of family, friends, and faith? Modern medicine. Vance isn't having several seizures per day anymore. My dad doesn't limp anymore. My mom isn't crippled by her multiple sclerosis. And I'm no longer bedridden each month by my endometriosis. Though it's preferable to solve things without having to resort to pharmaceuticals, if they make life easier, it's not a weakness to take advantage of all of the scientific advancements we now have at our fingertips. Animals. I want to open the doors to every slaughterhouse in the country and free the cows and ride them into the sunset. Nature. We are incredibly lucky to be on this planet while there is still so much beauty on it untouched by man. A tree doesn't care about what other trees think of it. It simply grows. In order to get a better understanding about Jenna, her family, and her passion for cinema and doing good in the world, watch her award-winning short film, Bumblebees, below.